Good evening, everyone. Tonight's Tuesday night talk. We are here this evening because of the horrific attacks that have been launched in Israel by Hamas. And as the public safety director in Franklin Township, it is the responsibility of my department to keep everyone safe. However, as many of you know, safety can be physical and psychological. And this devastation has impacted citizens abroad and at home and within our community. And our main objective here tonight is to build unity and comfort during this time. And for that reason, Captain Hebon and I discussed having assembled our chaplains, which pretty much we're introducing to our entire community in the world right now for the first time in this virtual setting, and our township leaders, and also some of our officers to address how these events are impacting our community members, both within the community, within our religious institutions, and within our police department as well. And I'm going to tell you right now, we work together effectively to assist everyone during these times. And we couldn't do it without these partnerships. Tonight, we have Somerset County Prosecutor's Office Chief of Detectives, Francis Roman. You can wave. All right. We have Mayor Phil Kramer, Franklin Township. We have Dr. Alex Kharazi, the president of the Interfaith Council. We have Rabbi Eli Garfinkel of Temple Beth El. We have Imam Rizvi of the Muslim, you can correct me, Imam Council. Is that correct?
Muslim Foundation.
Foundation. Okay. Yes. Thank you. And we have Pastor Powell from Community Baptist Church, who's a little upside down right now, but we'll get that fixed right away from our tech team in the background. And also on, we have Officer Tuvel and Officer Oudeh. And these are, well, newer officers. Officer Tuvel likes hearing that, makes him sound very youth and like, but we have officers who also have some very real experiences dealing with the issues that are happening abroad right now. So first, I'd like to start with, I'm going to say, Chief Roman to discuss some of the things that we are doing on the law enforcement side to make sure that everyone is aware and safe during these times. And I'm just going to remind everyone to mute when you're not speaking. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director, and good evening, everyone. So since the events occurred overseas right away, as you can imagine, law enforcement, though things still happen overseas, we do see things that would transition to here in the stateside. So the first thing that we do is we do an assessment to see what type of threat or any threats could be affected within our geographical areas of responsibility. Immediately following the attacks, I was in communications with the director along with our other chiefs of police throughout the county of Somerset. We utilized numerous platforms to get the message across to law enforcement. We partner up with our partners in the federal government, everyone from FBI to the Office of Homeland Security to our clearinghouse with New Jersey State Police. So we utilized the Regional Operations Intelligence Center to get our intel from. So all this intelligence that's coming in gets vetted, and then we trickle that information down to our local partners so that everyone gets that information. From there, our local partners would get that out to the community, to our stakeholders, and we did increase patrol. We were in communications throughout the days following the attacks, and we did increase patrols to some of our places of worship and some civic community events and centers. So we continue to monitor the situation that's happening overseas. We have our intelligence unit here at the prosecutor's office, as well as our counterterrorism unit. As we sit here right now, there is no threat to anyone here in Somerset County, no specific threats, but we remain highly vigilant and ensuring that anything that gets reported, it gets disseminated out to our partners. We are constantly having meetings. We just met with the director this morning, as a matter of fact, and we're constantly just sharing information. So any information, regardless of what we receive, it does not matter. We always will transition that information out, push it out, and we vet it. We're not in a position to hold anything, regardless of what it is. We want to make sure that we share it out to the proper people and to ensure that we keep our citizens safe, not just here in Somerset County, but in the state of New Jersey and surrounding areas. Director?
Yes, and exactly, and that is what we do. We constantly communicate. Trust me, we text message. We also work with the Office of Emergency Management and making sure that we have the resources and information to provide to the citizens in Franklin and throughout Somerset County. That being said, Mayor Kramer, as soon as we were aware of what was going on within our community and abroad, we started having discussions. So, Mayor, what would you like to say? Mayor, are you muted? You're muted. Sorry.
How about now? Okay. Preparing for this is not something you do when it occurs and then you get things together. Preparing for this has taken years. The smartest thing we did was hiring you. And you have formed a force under you that include people like Officer Oudeh and Tuvel. Pardon me if I pronounced them wrong. It's partnering with people like Alex Kharazi, being able to call the rabbi, being able to call the Imam, and knowing these people, being familiar at the mosques. I visited most of the mosques so that people know each other, can talk to each other, and we're in place. We have the Community Relations Bureau reaching out because this isn't obviously the only crisis that can occur. It can occur in any race, creed, etc. So you just have to be ready for this and be ready for this by having a community that is diverse. That's given to us. We didn't create that. That's given to us, but working with it and constantly working with it. We're proud of our diversity, and Franklin does it very well. But it's something you have to work on constantly. It isn't easy. And I really applaud the director for what she has done with the force. And I also have to applaud the rabbi for setting such an incredible example at the vigil. I'm I am in awe of him and what he did and the great courage he showed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And Rabbi, I was away at the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference in San Diego. It's an annual event, so I was not able to attend the vigil, but I did hear, the uplifting words that you said. So I just wanted you to share with us, right now, how is everyone doing within your community?
Well, first of all, thank you, Mayor Kramer. I have to be honest and say that those words would not have come out of my mouth had it not been for some very honest conversations that I had with prominent members of the Muslim community here in Franklin, most notably Dr. Kharazi, who really opened my eyes to some perspectives that I would not have otherwise spent any time thinking about. So I want to recognize I want to recognize them for their assistance in that matter. In order to understand what Jews and Israelis are going through right now, you actually are the perfect group to understand this if you were in New York on 9/11. If you were, then you know exactly what we're going through because the feeling is really so very similar. I was in Cincinnati when 9/11 occurred, and it sent me, even though I was 800 miles away, it sent me into a kind of a spiral, as it did for many Americans. But what has happened in Israel, even though it's 10,000 miles away, because of the tight emotional connection we have to people there, to the land itself, it really feels like a personal 9/11, and in some ways it can be very jarring because while we feel this way, there are lots of people out on the street who are just going about their normal business because it's not in their reality. It's not something that they are thinking about. So that's how we're feeling. I think we feel as though we've sustained a very serious trauma. In terms of my role in caring for people, I have um, I have three major groups of people who need my help. That's one, people with family in Israel who are worried about them for obvious reasons. The second group are those who are worried about synagogue attacks in here in Franklin, who feel that they're not safe, and I consider it, my duty to tell them that they absolutely are very safe in our synagogue. There is absolutely nothing realistic to worry about, and that we have. We can choose to live in fear, or we can choose to live in faith. And having done both, I choose to live in faith rather than to worry about that which will probably not happen. And then there's also some people who come to me because they are worried about the future in general, not just in Franklin, but everywhere. People who are worried that we are on the precipice of a global disaster. Unfortunately, that's not a crazy thought, but I also don't think that it is helpful to think about it if one is not empowered to do something about it. So I, to use pardon the idiom, but I do have to talk people off the ledge, as they say. And of course, then the last group are those, my family, and that's the 15 million brothers and sisters in Israel, America, Canada, worldwide, who are all in mourning now.
Yes, yes, understood. Thank you. So, Imam, Rizvi, I know, in Franklin, I'm going to say we're unique, but I'm sure there's many other communities within, especially the state of New Jersey, probably the United States, that are like us. And, what is, your message about what's going on?
Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me for this very important discussion. Before I share my sentiments, and I agree with what Rabbi had said and others have spoken before me, I just wanted to bring into your attention yesterday, Sunday, October 15th, or 2 days ago, October 15th, a 6-year-old Muslim boy was killed in Plainfield in Chicago, Illinois. He was a Palestinian 6-year-old with his mother, 32-year-old mother. They were attacked in their bedroom because the landlord, looking at the pictures and the news on his TV, thought it was his moral right and duty to go ahead and take this revenge. Now, that's something which, of course, happened in Chicago, and Chicago is not that far away. And I'm sure the news was all over, mainstream news and whatnot, and social media, and a lot of reactions have emerged from that. Of course, nothing compared to the attacks on October 7th, but nonetheless, the aftermaths of that and the effects of what happened in Middle East, and the trickling effects of that, unfortunately, coming over here as well. While we mourn the loss of those who were killed that day and loss of humanity, Islam plays important, or places infinite amount of importance on the loss of life, wherever it may be, whoever it may be. And Quran is filled with all of these things. And therefore, regardless of the color of skin, background, religious, ethnicity, and all that stuff, all lives are equally important. And therefore, if a person is lost or killed, it is as if the person who was behind killing it has killed entire mankind. And if a life is saved, it is as if entire humanity has been saved. So that's our message and role here in Franklin Township. Of course, over here is that be a lending hand and to help out others and to be able to lift other communities as well, teach our children how to live in peace and harmony with others, how to be able to coexist with the environment that we live in. And of course, a lot of negativity that children these days face on through social media and whatnot, and a lot of information flowing left and right, which is unfiltered, not knowing what is right and what is wrong. So with that said, of course, our message has always been from our mosque in Masjid Ali in Franklin Township is one of peace and harmony and against hatred of all kinds, love. And that is the reason we've invited, all different, religious leaders. Rabbi has been part of our congregation many times. He's attended programs. Mayor Kramer is a local attendee, and we very much appreciate his coming about. And I look forward to having all others who are present over here to please come. And, when you guys show up to our mosque, when you come there, of course, people get this sense of belonging. A lot of time when these anti-Semitic events that happen, of course, the Jews feel that they're all totally under attack and no one is there to stand by them. Similarly, when Islamophobia is on the rise, Muslims feel the same way, that they're singled out. And this is where I think Franklin is unique, where we care for each other and we stand by each other.
Absolutely. And in doing so, that's why we have all faiths involved in this. And although, you may have, the Christians who are not involved in what's going on directly, we're all impacted by it because we're seeing it on television and social media constantly every day. You cannot turn on the television, hear it on the radio. And so, Pastor Powell, what is the message that you're telling your congregation about what's going on? How can others support everyone during this time?
I want to echo the sentiments that I've heard thus far. I know my sound was going in and out, but I did get to hear the tail end of Rabbi Garfinkel as well as Rizwan. And basically, from a very simple essence, the recognition is that, of course, the loss of life on any account is one which demands not only our prayers and attention, but also our concern. I happen to be privileged enough to pastor a multicultural context, in which case it's not monolithic in their thoughts and understandings. And my encouragement to my congregation was simply this: at the end of the day, we side on the side of love, and all efforts and all understanding on the side of love. And our understanding is that it is our prayer and our concern that peace be of paramount understanding. And I think that, one of the things I also want to encourage is we realize that the media in and of itself has its own understandings and slants and things of that nature. But the important piece is to listen to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter speaks to how we operate, not as individuals, but as humans and as a mankind. And ultimately, our concern and our efforts should be in supporting one another. I have friends, families, neighbors, etc., who are directly impacted. Those maybe indirectly impacted. But the point is, it is something that's of concern for all of us. Franklin Township is unique in its aspect of being able to really have what I like to consider to be a wraparound multicultural context. So it's been, I think we have an advantage being and living where we live, in being able to address those needs and also to be able to meet people at the place of their need.
Thank you. I hear you have a small demanding one in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 2-month-old, he's not letting me do this today.
It's okay. It's okay. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you for taking the time to come and be a part of this. I wanted to, before I move on to Dr. Kharazi, um, who's kind of going to wrap this all in a bow for us, I want to move on to our officers. And believe me, when they both of them were hired, it was not a plan. This is, like the mayor said, this is just how Franklin Police Department and Franklin Township is evolving in terms of our diversity. Officer Tuvel, I had no idea, how closely you were entangled in what's going on. Can you tell everyone?
Yes, my name is Officer Tuvel, and I am first generation American. Both my parents are Israeli. My brother and sister are also Israeli. And the rest of my family, my grandmother, aunts, uncles, and cousins are still in Israel. Some are fighting, and some are just trying to stay safe.
And I mean, we wish all the best for you and your family. I know, coming to work every day, doing what we do, we appreciate the fact that, you are able to keep an eye on yourself, everyone else in the community, and, just be a part of us. I just love the fact that, organically we have been able to create this type of community in our police department. Officer Oudeh is fairly new. How many months have you been in Franklin?
I think at this point, I believe it's been four. Yeah, we're
Four
going on
months.
4 months.
4 months. So, Officer Oudeh, I know most people on the road probably would not know your heritage, but let's talk about that.
Yes, I'm a first generation Italian American Palestinian. So, my father is Palestinian. He's from Palestine. He was born and raised there. I think he was about 6, and he moved here with his family. And my mom, she's lived here all her life, and she's Italian. And so I'm out of all my cousins, I got a pretty big family. I got like 26 first cousins. So I got a lot of cousins, uncles and aunts and everybody. So out of all of them, I'm the only one that's has two different ethnicities like that. A lot of them are full Palestinian. And they're very proud of that, and as they should be. And I'm very proud of who I am, because I think it separates me a little bit. And just like the director said, when I'm on the street and then people, they see my last name and then like Oudeh, and then they ask me about it, and I explain it to them. No, wow, I never would have guessed that, or like, yeah, that threw me off. And a lot of times it's a smile on their face, which is nice, because it just goes to show the people in Franklin, how welcoming they are to like the diversity and all the change and everybody, how welcoming they are to having new people around.
Thank you for that. And just keep in mind that was not a requirement. I had no idea because we're not even allowed to ask those questions. Like I said, it just came about organically. We hired them for the persons and the experience that they brought to the organization. So, Dr. Kharazi, you are the president of the Interfaith Council, and things that we're doing and we're going through. We always look to you for good counsel, and I love the fact that you brought together the objective for me anyway. And we were doing it, but you put it in a phrase. Build unity and comfort during this time, because regardless of if you're directly impacted by it or indirectly, you have friends. Listen, my kids, they have friends who are going through it. Everyone is touched in some type of way by what's going on. So, why is it important for us to talk about this?
Thank you so much, Director, and thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mayor, Chief, and everybody else. So first, I wanted to express my deepest sympathy to all the families that have been affected by the horrific events during the last 11 days in Israel and Gaza. And we pray for the war to end and a just and peaceful solution prevail between Israelis and Palestinians. Now, I've lived in Franklin Township for over 37 years. And, Franklin is a pretty unique place. It is the second most diverse township in the state of New Jersey. And many of the people, actually most of the people that they come here to live, they value the diversity, and they really don't want just to live next to each other, but they wanted to live with each other. And they want to work together. They wanted to understand each other's pain and join at the times of happiness. And we really have potential to make Franklin an example of a shining example of unity and harmony for others to follow. The second unique thing about Franklin Township is that we have over 70 houses of worship. And in fact, a few years back, a few of us got together and formed the Interfaith Council in Franklin. And our missions were to enhance the acceptance of religious and cultural diversity, and also promote activities that foster socialization. I am its president, Rabbi is its vice president, and so we are really happy that we have formed this. And I believe we are in a very unique situation to really bring the community together. And I'd like to give you 3 examples just to highlight who we are and how we, as the leaders of this community, work together. The first example, Rabbi mentioned a little bit, but I want to give you a little bit of a background on that. There was a vigil last Wednesday, as you know, at Temple Bethel. And a day before that, a couple of people called me, and they were they were in pain because Rabbi had put a message in his blog, which added to their pain. One of them was a prominent Palestinian member of the community. So they asked me if I can talk to Rabbi for him to understand the pain that they're going through. I said, that's not the way we should do. I know Rabbi, we can go and sit down and talk to him. 5 of us were together, and Rabbi talked about the pain that he was going through. And then he heard the other story from the other Palestinian, and we shed some tears. And the outcome of that discussion was pretty unique. Not only Rabbi took that blog down right away, but as he mentioned, he changed his speech for that vigil. And his message was a message of compassionate and supportive on peace and coexistence between Israelis and Palestinians. And so when he saw the other side, he realized that there are things that he can say to heal the wounds and lessen the pain. And that's a key thing for us as community member. We need to talk to each other. We need to see the other side. We can sit and talk and maybe even shed some tears because we're going through the same kind of pain. And that's one message that I like to give it tonight. The second example is our mayor. Again, the night before at 10 o'clock, he called me. He said, look, I'm going to be talking in vigil tomorrow, and I have written something together. And he read, and after he finished, I said, Mayor, you're the leader for everybody in the township. And he looked at his message and made some changes, and he gave a great message to a message of understanding, hope, and really showed the leadership. That's the type of people that we have in township. And the third example that I think is really important one, if you have not seen the message from the school administration, please read it. It is a great message of hope. It highlights the mental health issues that our students going through, and even provides some resources for parents to read, to be able to talk the issue with their kids and heal the wounds. So really, Franklin Township is in a very unique position to set examples. For us, we can have an environment that we can be together, send a message of hope, tolerance, understanding, and respect for one another while protecting freedom of expression as well. So this is very important. I had people that called me that I don't want to take my kid to school today because I'm afraid something is going to happen. We should not, in our community, we should not have that kind of fear. Fortunately, we have our police department, we have our chief and others. They're keeping an eye on us. But it's important that message from the leaders, from the community members, from the parents should be message of hope, should be message of tolerance and unity, and let everybody know that we really are neighbors that love each other. So that is what I was just going to mention. And thank you again for this event. There's one other thing that if I just take maybe 30 seconds. A few
Sure.
years back, all great majority of our people in township, including all the Franklin Township school children, took a pledge to stand for the other, stand up for the other. And that pledge reads like this, and I just wanted to read that. While interacting with members of my own faith or ethnic or gender community or with others, if I hear hateful comments from anyone about members of any other community, I pledge to stand up for the other and speak up to challenge bigotry in any form. So, my dear community member, you have made that pledge, our council people and many others. This is the time that we honor that pledge more than any other time. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Franklin Township, and we love you all.
Thank you so much for that. You know, the mayor says something, and I'm very bad with compliments. You know, I hear compliments. I heard it, but I didn't digest it when he said, you know, one of the great things he did was, you know, the township did was hiring me. And I want to say that, you know, I've become embedded in the township. I can't believe it's going to be, I'm closer to 4 years as the public safety director than three. It's a little over 3.5. And, you know, some people know I moved to town. So, you know, I'm invested. I'm here. I can't find a house, but I'm here. You know, that's an ongoing problem. But, Mayor, I mean, what are we going to do moving forward? I mean, I know the police department has plans. I know that, you know, the township has plans to keep things going with, you know, our diversity, with our camaraderie. I think I haven't seen this done anywhere like this. And believe you, I've been in Essex County all my life, working there. I've lived in Somerset and Middlesex County for the past 20 something years. But Somerset, we have something special here, and I hope everyone recognizes it.
That's a question.
It was a thank you, and then it was a question. What are we going to do to keep this going in Franklin Township?
Well, we look for opportunities. We have a new community center where the BOE is now. We have a new library in the southern part of town that has meeting places. We built the youth center where kids can get together and learn from each other. And I think just growing the Interfaith Council, attending the Interfaith Council, and getting out to the community more, just constantly getting the community with each other. One thing Alex didn't mention about what we learn from each other is we eat at each other's restaurants. And you can, when you do that, not only do you get the taste of the other's restaurants, but you'll see people from the other parts of the community. You know, one of the smart things that the LGBTQ community did was come out. And by coming out, you realize you were working with and meeting with people of that community, and they were people you liked. So you learned, you know what, I like these people. I like a person who's there. I want them to have the freedom that everyone else has. And that grew people's faith in that community and took them in. So the more you go, I've always said this about Alex. The brilliant thing they did was open their mosque to for a polling place, because now people go in, they serve them cookies, but they also see the inside of a mosque. It's not that funny building with a gold dome anymore. It's that place they've gone in, and it's no longer strange to them. So I think one of the main things we can do is invite each other into our communities as they did, and the township will keep looking for opportunities.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because there are some people listening that said, they're trying to figure out how to get involved in the community. And, you know, and there's opportunities. You just have to look on our website. Things are going on every week. I would say almost every day, it feels like in my world. But and someone also said, I wish more people were listening. The great thing about this platform that we're using is that we post it on our website, we post it on Facebook, and people replay it. So even though there may be a few people, a handful of people right now, we get thousands and thousands of views later on. So don't think that, people are missing it. Everybody's on the on demand right now anyway. No one watches television live anymore. That's why Netflix and all those other platforms are so successful. So I just want to.
If I could say, there's an opportunity coming up this weekend. There's a Diwali celebration at the high school from 5 to 8, the 21st. You don't have to be of Indian descent to go to that. It's open to everyone. I will be there. Go and learn. Go and taste. Go and make friends.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to ask closing words, comments, um, Chief Roman.
Yes, thank you, Director. This is awesome to have this conversation, and we hope that the community will see this and even reply, and we can always get back with any questions. One thing we in law enforcement, obviously, we're here to make sure the community is safe. That's all members of the community. So understand that Franklin Township Police Department, you have one of the best departments in the state. We work hand in hand with them, from the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office and even our Sheriff's Office in Somerset County. The sheriff, obviously, everyone knows, was a former lieutenant in Franklin Township. So we are all committed, not just to Franklin Township, but to the county as a whole. We ask that, regardless, for the community members, that don't ever think that by calling us that you're bothering us. If you see something, I know it's we hear it, you see something, you say something, but we are here. You're never going to bother law enforcement. That is our job. Our job is to keep everyone in the community safe. So with your partnership with our stakeholders on this meeting, just understand that we are here for you. Our phone rings, director's phone rings at the wee hour of the night, and that is what we get paid to do. But we are truly vested. We are part of the community. So we are vested in the community, and we just all, work together, and we all want, at the end of the day, we want what's best for our children. That's the end message here. So our phone is we're always open for any comments and any conversations anyone, wishes to have with us. Thank you, Director.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned Sheriff Russo. He had another obligation he had to attend to. But yes, he also, the sheriff department is involved in patrolling the schools and, all of the religious institutions in our town and throughout Somerset County. So it's definitely a team effort. Rabbi, I'm sorry. Yes, Rabbi, closing words. The boxes were moving around. I wasn't quite sure where you were. You're muted.
I just wanted to add to what others have said, that I know that I'm blessed to live in a place like this where people know how to talk to one another, where the first action is a phone call and a conversation rather than a protest, and it's a model for the entire world.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Pastor Powell?
Yeah, I'm going to echo that as well. I think that one of the major pieces that we really hit on is the fact that there is conversation. I think that in a world where there's so much misinformation, a lot of the people really don't know or have a solid understanding of everything that's taking place or how people actually feel. And to take tacit assumptions just based on media intervention is a way to just operate in ignorance. But with a township like ours, where we have the ability to tap into the resources to get actual information, we can actually have a better dialogue that allows us to not only be more informed, but also to have a better understanding of how we can better care for one another. So I am also, along with what everyone else has said, proud to be here and excited about this conversation and hopeful that the conversation continues so that we can be edified by it.
Thank you for that. Dr. Kharazi?
Thank you. Director, thank you so much for putting this together, hosting this event, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Franklin. And as I said, I've lived here 37 years, and I hope I will live another 37 so I can continue serving the community, being with the community. Just one thing that I wanted just to say, one of the best experiences that people go through when they come to United States and call United States at their home is to be able to express their opinion and speak without having any kind of fear in a civil manner. That's something that people won't experience in other countries. There is no such a freedom of expression. So please, please, always remember that. Don't let that gift go away. If somebody expresses his or her opinion, which may be different from yours, please don't call them names. Don't call them, for example, terrorists, Zionists, and things. Please listen. You may disagree respectfully, but please always remember, we as older generation, as parents, we need to show the right way to our children. They need to see that we respect others and teach them how to be together and love each other. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Imam had to leave for a program at the mosque, but I'm going to ask our officers, Tuvel, did I say that right this time? And
Yeah.
Oudeh, to just a brief comment about, your mission when you're out there.
Well, first, I just want to say that it's great to see, in a world so divided, to see a community come together like this and look out for each other. That's really great to see, especially, everybody wants to fight each other. And to touch on what Chief Roman said, our goal is to keep our community safe as much as possible. We've been doing regular checks at all houses of worship, the schools, just so we show, more presence and let them know that we're here, and if anybody needs help, that we're available, and we'll do whatever we can to keep you safe.
All right. Officer Oudeh?
Yeah, kind of to go off what Officer Tuvel said, it's great to be a part of the community. It's so welcoming and so diverse. I've only been here for a short time, but I've been nothing but smiles have been shown at me, and welcome arms, and it's great to be somewhere that you feel like you can grow and develop, and at the same time get to see everybody from all walks of life. And just like Officer Tuvel also said, I work at Midnight Patrol, so we always make sure that we're doing our security checks and we're checking all houses and places of worship. Not just the synagogues and the mosques, but everywhere, and make sure that everything is being taken care of, and no one's mistreating something that's so important to so many different people in the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, I I want to say this. We are very compassionate. My officers, my command staff. I could not do this job without them. Captain Hebon, Captain Fredericks, Captain Lacewell, and the other command staff, the lieutenants, the sergeants, and all the officers. I know I drive them crazy, but you know what? We strive to be the best. We do. And I want to show that not just to Somerset County, the state of New Jersey, to the nation, that guess what? We do it here. And as compassionate as we are, I want everyone to know that guess what? We are prepared for the unexpected. And do not hesitate to call us. Do not hesitate to reach out. You see something, say something. It's not a slogan, like Chief Roman said, it's a reality, because that is how the smallest thing you think it is, sometimes it's something big to us, and it could really help us prevent something. We're not looking to be reactive. We want to be proactive and prevent anything from happening in our communities. And I'm going to say, yes, we're a little selfish to Franklin, but at the end of the day, we're partners with our surrounding towns as well, because we do have mutual aid agreements and we do all jump in there together. The meeting that we had today was with the other chiefs and, officer in charge from other towns around. And guess what? We want to make sure that we're all safe, because listen, borders, no one knows what those borders are at the end of the day except for us. The community is the community. They dial 911. They don't know where their feet are planted. They just want someone to respond, right? So, Captain Heaven, can you roll us out here? I know you're sitting back there. He's playing tech, but he's more than tech.
No, for one, I just want to say, Director, you don't drive us crazy. You push us, and that's to be respected, because we're in a very diverse community, as everyone has pointed out, and we strive hard to make it a point that everyone feels that they're being properly served by the members of this police department. So you push us to make sure that we leave every box checked off, and that we do everything to the 150th percent of our ability. So we thank you for that, because it just pushes us beyond the standard practices that we can offer. So we appreciate that. And as far as the community, we're here, and when you look at our police department, we are working hard to make sure that we're reflective of what this township is, as far as the diversity and what our officers are bringing, and as far as even the training and the exposure to different parts of the township, so that the officers understand and have high levels of compassion for everyone's needs. So we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to keep our ears open and be willing to educate, as well as be educated on the needs of the township. You can even see that in our Citizens Academy and stuff like that, where we're dialoguing and exchanging ideas with the community. So we're going to keep pushing forward and doing that, and we hope that you join us and be part of it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Any dying comments? We're going to wrap this up. We like to keep it under an hour, so that others later on will rewatch what we've recorded here. And
I would just like to say, I want to thank the chief for having an office that's known to treat everybody with respect. They may be there for something that they've done, but they still deserve respect, regardless of who they are. And Reverend Powell for having such a strong community, and he runs it as a warm and open community. The two officers, you're there to keep us safe, and the rest of us on the screen are there to keep us not only safe, but united. And I think all of the people on the screen are doing that job. Thank you.
well, that being said, everyone, I would just love to wish everyone a good night. Stay safe. Someone said, please don't let this be one and done. Look forward to seeing these conversations. And we were just working on the type of platform we wanted to use for these conversations to make sure, they were fluid and they were efficient. We're always looking for better ways to do things. We will be back soon. And we're looking forward to more conversation. If you have any comments, any questions, you can always reach out to us. Our email addresses, phone numbers are on our website, the Franklin Township website, and also the Somerset County prosecutor's website. So trust me, you can reach us. We are reachable, we are approachable. Whether you agree or disagree, we want to hear from you. And we appreciate everyone's perspective. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you for joining Tuesday Night Talk. See you next time.